He's delish,
just bite
though,
his
isn't he?
shoulder a bit.
Just, you know.
You don't have to tell Saeed though, because that's usually.
Oh, God. Now he.
Do you guys know Saeed? Maybe you weren't around before he left. You weren't born yet. Just beautiful, beautiful man.
Beautiful.
He had a show at NN back when it was in the old building.
Yeah, fish.
And I was filming that day on my camera because are you recording right now? You sneaky bitch.
I've set it, but we can
choose
when to start.
No, actually, it'd be quite cute for this story.
That's
His portrait.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We did see that.
Yeah, I did go over that one.
But I had had a commission for Ennen's anniversary, so I brought my camera to the opening of his show that he had with Viv. It was like a dual show, and that was the first night I met him. But I had been recording video in the gallery, and not with the audio. I was going to ditch the audio, but use the film. And so on camera, I have a recording of these two talking about Saeed, and Sam going, I want to marry him, and Luke going, I think I want to marry him. And that was the first time we met Saeed, and I think we'd all agree that
And now we're a massive polyamorous family.
We're all still open to it.
He's lovely though as well.
He's so, and his hugs. Oh. He hugged me, he was wearing cashmere.
Sorry, Lucy made a
Best
really funny
3
noise.
moments of my life.
He does have good jumpers. He lives in another country now, though. With
Yeah,
his beautiful wife and his gorgeous children.
He lives in
Just
Oslo.
making beautiful babies.
In where?
and
Oslo.
Art.
Oslo, yeah.
Nice.
Those bitches have him, and we don't. It's tragedy.
So we're here stuck in the studio.
And back in the room.
I don't know how to
This is a
segue it
normal
back.
conversation.
Before it does kick off, do those open.
Should we? Yeah, I can
Sorry.
open the
I
windows.
think it's already kicked off, honey, and you've interrupted it.
Well,
That was like a really smooth. That was a really smooth
Lucy,
thing
your
that
hair
you-
looks fabulous.
I can do it.
by
I
the
did
way.
ask earlier.
It's
But
fucking hot.
It requires a tool to open the windows.
I'm actually not sure.
Sort of fucking mental.
Don't
Red
tell
and
them.
orange.
we've just had some blinds put up, and I almost bought a
Flame,
landlord's
like
actually
as if it's on
put
fire.
on really long things with like nuts over the little bolts over the end. Yeah, so we've got enough.
Yeah.
We had some bits of string, but they've all since kind of unreachable levels.
String is
Thank you for that.
unreliable.
Sorry, I was just.
Yeah, we asked to open it when we first moved in here, and they were like, yeah, this is the stick that everyone on the floor uses. And then he was like, oh, if anyone asks, just give it to them. And we've been here 3 years and no one's ever asked to use it. Not once, so.
Sam.
Don't tell them.
But yeah, I think everyone else is just like dying of heat in their rooms. Horrible, isn't it?
Go down a bit.
Cheers, babes.
Shall I top you up before we kick off?
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. That's the ghost I invited. That's the ghost of our failures that I invited to join us for the podcast recording.
Oh, there's loads of those ghosts.
It comes in singing a show tune, kicking.
If they could see me now.
What is that thing on top of the water?
This
Yeah.
is
Very
a lamp.
fancy one.
Yeah, very
This is lamb.
Alex is the other guy, as he's been called.
The other guy,
Mafia.
Donated
the other guy
after.
who's currently away other guying
Yeah.
somewhere else.
But the lamp that his girlfriend got us after she shattered the last one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you finished that word. I thought you were going to stop with shat.
Oh, right.
She shat on there.
Yeah,
She
but-
shat on the last
yeah.
one. I'm sure she's on something.
With a lamp shattering, shitting on
I broke
lamps
a lamp
ways.
today.
You did break a
happens.
lamp today.
It was paper.
Right. Should we?
Take 53.
Yeah. Okay. Windows are open. Door's not going to fly open at any point.
Oh yeah.
Just before something will happen right now. I'll cover that up. But yeah,
Is that going to be a problem with the sound?
that will be fine. We've had louder noises and that happen, so
Okay.
we should be all good.
Is this close enough?
Yeah.
I'm suddenly really
Good.
excited. Nervous. What's going to happen?
What's good?
Yeah, you're here, you're complicit.
I'm the only sober one now.
Yeah. Guilty by
That means-
association.
I think that means you're actually responsible for
Yeah.
anything that happens here. Yeah, you should be
Yeah.
worried. We're not.
Don't
we're
worry.
not okay.
I can wing it.
Something you're doing the intro. It's really good. You can put it in your uni like work placement
CV.
folder.
And
Right.
looking after the elderly.
Volunteering hours.
Ticks and then a box.
Like a word of community service right now.
Right. Okay. We're in.
Joe, what's your problem? Can you start the podcast? Jeez. Fucking unprofessional Mickey Mouse shit. Sorry.
Right. We're in the studio with Jess, Luke, and Sam, all from Studio Malarkey. And now you get to pick between you who gets to introduce yourselves.
Luke first.
That was decided.
Oh my god. I'm the American and I'm the only one who'll speak up first. Hi, I'm Jessica Harby. I'm an artist and I work in the arts and I'm part of Studio Malarkey. Okay, now you.
I'm Luke Harby. Hello. I'm just the wrong side of 50. I'm 1/3 of Studio Malarkey. I'm an artist who uses film photography.
Hi, I'm Sam Gibson. I'm the right side of 50, hurtling towards 60. I'm an artist. I share with these melts and use photography, embroidery, and make miniatures.
Okay, see, I went first. I didn't know I was meant to say my age.
Well, you're like, what,
I'm the-
32?
No.
I'm the baby of the group.
You are.
I'm 44. It's really just, I've only been born. And also I didn't say what kind of art I made, but I'm going to leave that one there.
Is that a mystery for the audience?
Yeah, I'm sure the audience is
Yeah.
thrilling right now. What kind of art I made.
So for all the confused people at home, do you want to explain what Studio Malarkey is?
Oh God, but we're confused. It is the place where the three of us make art, and it is also a place where sometimes we show art, but not often. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, primarily artist-led studio, but with a little bit of a focus on possibly trying to exhibit other things or showcase other things or do other things there, because it is obviously a very, very beautiful space.
It is a beautiful space.
It is very
Do
cool,
I need
and in
to,
a cool building as well.
Yes, we're in the attic of the Albion Brewery building at the bottom of Bridge Street. Very, very lovely.
And the same problem as us with the stairs.
Yep. We
It's
do
always
have
fun.
accessibility issues, which, excuse me, are disheartening when we want to be inclusive and have lots and lots of people come and see or show or take part. So we have to really think about that when we're putting on stuff. But when you manage to get up there, if you can, it's incredible. And hopefully we can find other ways to show it to people through videos if we have shows.
It's something that we've addressed. We've had 2 shows.
Yes.
We've had 2 shows, one with a guest curator and one that we curated ourselves. And with the guest curator, we urged him to make the show accessible for people who cannot come up to the studio. And for ours, Luke built a beautiful website that was live for the amount of time that the exhibition was up. And we also had works that were website exclusive. So even if you came to the gallery, there was a little, bonus.
Was
waiting
that the
for
one
you
that
online.
we came to? Which one did we
Yes.
come to? And that was the webpage with the
Right.
witch that would fly around.
Yeah, Apparition, Aberration, Your Mum was the name of the show. So it was all about spooky stuff, witchcraft, conjuring, but we wanted a little bit of humour in there as well. So there were quite a lot of, there were 22 artists involved in that. Yeah, and you did come to that. Yeah.
Including all of us, we all had work in it.
Just to go back to the stairs as well, if people do want to come and visit, we do have lots of seats, so sometimes you get to the top and you just want to have a little sit down and catch your breath. So we do have that at least. Yeah.
I think is there only one place in Northampton that's actually accessible in any way,
Like
and
an arts venue.
it's so expensive that most artists can't afford it.
Oh, I think we'd all know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's also the creative place on Market Square, which I guess doesn't have steps, but apart from that, everyone seems to be tucked away behind, stories and in old factories as the
Yeah, it's
vibe
an old
here.
building.
Yeah.
You're at the mercy of
Yeah.
Well, artists are like rodents. We like inhabit the buildings
Whatever's
that
left.
aren't good enough for human habitation. You know, there's no temperature control. It's leaky. The roof comes off sometimes, but we're artists, so it's fine.
fingerless gloves, pot noodles.
Our space wouldn't exist in London or any other big city. It would have been converted into flats.
Yeah. I mean, same with here, right? It's
Yeah.
just like it would have gone a long time
And
ago.
we've held off. I've been there about 10 years, and I've held off the landlord's desire to insulate and upgrade, because I know that with insulation and upgrade comes spendy price tag.
Yeah.
So we'd be like, oh no, we'll be fine. We'll be
Yeah,
fine.
and then it's a business space and not an artist
it's
space anymore.
Where spaces are marketed to creatives, which has nothing to do with art.
Yeah.
It's just media, which is fine, but don't tell me you're all for the arts
Yeah.
when you're marketing to estate agents who just happen to have a big space in one of the most prestigious art
right in the
venues in the town.
They've got a really nice logo, Sam.
Oh, do they? I mean, the colour combination for Rightmove, it's just
beautiful.
we have to be in the shit tents, because where else are we going to
Yeah.
go?
Which also leads, I know you're obviously not, but are you both Northampton born and bred, or?
No, I was born somewhere worse.
Not Luton.
Nuneaton. I'm from Nuneaton. And my parents moved here when I was 12. And then as soon as I was in 1982, they moved here. And as soon as I was old enough, I ran away to London. And then stayed there for about 10 years and moved around, lived all sorts of places. And me and my husband were in Dublin. And I'd already tricked him into knocking me up once. And I thought, do you know what? Twice will really lock him down. So I was about to have my second child, and Rob was asked to come back to London, and I didn't really want to have two little kids there. And I'd already started to learn how to build websites and do more art stuff again, after years of not doing it. And we were looking at places, and my parents were still here, so we were like, oh, do you know what? You can work in London and we can get a 4-bedroom detached house for 130 grand apparently here at the time, instead of some really tiny little place in Ascot, which I didn't want to go to. So we came back here. That's where my children grew up. So, yes.
And then you as well, because I'm curious now.
Yeah, so I was born in the New Forest, just outside Southampton. I was there for
Under a
6
bush.
months. Then we moved to Snowdonia, the foot of Mount Snowdon. Then to Anglesey in North Wales. And then there's quite a few other little stops on the journey. So my parents used to run hotels and restaurants, and it seemed like every couple of years we'd have to move on. So I think I went to about 8 schools or something. I arrived in Northampton, I think in 1998, and then I just got stuck here, really. I couldn't exit. So it was kind of a contrast in a way. I'd been moving all that time, which was kind of cool in some ways. So then I came here, and I've been here for 20-something years, I think.
But it's the people that make you stop somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not what
That's
Alan
true.
Moore says. Ellen Moore says
what
that
does Ellen Moore?
Ellen Moore says it's basically a hole that
It does suck big.
Yeah.
soaks you in and won't let you get far ever again.
Yeah, they're okay, Al.
We've proved him right, haven't we?
No, he
Well-
literally wouldn't. He looked at me and said, but Jessica, have you ever tried to leave? And so,
Strokey
and I
beard.
haven't been. I have not been out in Northampton since moving here. So that's why he's a known wizard, because he knows this stuff.
I would say for the viewers and listeners, Jessica and I are married. We have the same surname. But, you know, the thing that I like is like our four walls are very nice. We live quite nice at home. We've got a doggo. That's lovely. We've got the most amazing studio that has Sam in it as well. So, you know, it's sort of... people say about, oh, it's not far from London, which, like, that's not a catch for me, but obviously some people think that's quite useful. Our studio is very close to the train station. You can walk from the train station. And yeah, we wouldn't
Which
have...
is good for visitors. We have people dropping by all the time.
We wouldn't have anything like that. Like, I don't know where you'd have to go in the UK to have, you know, something like we have now. We're very, very lucky, I think.
Yeah. No, and we feel the same way with this space as well. It's like you can't really do stuff like this anywhere else, or you can, but it would cost like an arm and a leg more and be kind of harder to strike that balance of not just selling your soul to it and
this
not being able
country
to
isn't
anything useful.
huge. You can get pretty much everywhere in quite a short space of time.
Yeah, and we are the centre, so like you say, London, Birmingham, wherever you can get to, it's just it's different. But so how did you end up here then, other than Luke dragging you? Yeah, okay.
That's how they get you. I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, and I went to art school kind of later, like in my 20s, not when most people go to art school. I went to art school in Chicago, and I did a term in London, and then bounced back to Chicago to finish my degree and get my visa to enter the country to get married to this guy. So I've lived here for 16 and a half years. And
Alan Moore was right about you.
Ellen Moore was right, is that I unfortunately can't leave, apparently. Yeah.
It does raise a good point, because I think about it, I've never tried to leave, despite so maybe
Are
it
you
is
from
important.
Northampton?
Yeah, I'm from
I think
Northampton.
people do get
People
do get clustered here. You know, there's quite a lot of what's the word? Immigrants. Is that the word? People coming in. You know.
Lots of people. I met two young women on Sunday when I went for a little ramble with a Happy Hood walk, and they'd both been to university and stayed, and that's quite common. I come across artists mainly, they're my tribe, who go to university and stay. So there must be something here.
Yeah, it's just no one knows what it is. When you ask them, they will just kind of go, yeah.
I think it's people, when
Maybe
you
no
find
one's
somebody
pinned
that
it
you're
down.
with and you're just like, okay, well, here's as good as anywhere.
That's true.
And there are a lot of shitholes out there.
It probably does happen in other towns, right?
true.
But maybe at a slightly smaller degree, possibly. There's something about Northampton, though, isn't there? That's a bit
Are
strange.
you from here, Lucy?
Yeah. And I tried to leave. and then I realized, and then I
Did
came
Alan
back.
Moore jump from beyond a bush?
Yeah,
and
he
grab
like
you and
dragged me
said,
back by my
"Ah."
feet.
Yeah.
I
He
went
used his
to
cane with his
I went to London and I hated it
yeah.
so much. And then I moved back and I was like, I just don't know why I wanted to leave so bad. Because then
Did
I
you
met
study
loads
it?
of people,
Yes, yeah.
and then I was like, this is great. Because London doesn't have that community. I didn't feel everyone's very in their own lane, whereas everyone here is very supportive of each other. And I love.
I think I was lucky that I lived there when I did.
Yeah.
I lived in a tower block in Hoxton when it was not cool,
Yeah.
and it was lots of just real people, nice little communities,
Oh, you
little
talking about
villages.
Talking about the 90s, babe, aren't you? Is that
I
the
know,
90s?
it was the
Ugh.
early 90s
See,
as
that's
well.
not London, that's just the 90s.
It's just, yeah. And
Well,
it-
I lived in London briefly, and I felt that everyone was a bit too cool for school.
Yeah.
And like, even though I moved from a large American city to here, like, it's a Midwestern city, which is, we don't do like too cool for school. Like, we're friendly, you know. We're
Yeah.
like a city of Labrador retrievers. we're really nice. So yeah, I found London to be quite shocking in the coldness of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels very industry driven, and it forgets people exist kind of out and around. Because like I went the other day and I was like, everyone says hi on the street here, and then I was like, I said thank you to someone because they let me walk past, and they just gave me a dirty look, and I was like, oh, sorry.
Within the first month of me living in London, I complimented a woman on her dress on the Underground, and she looked like I had pulled a knife on her. She looked terrified, and I was just saying she looked great. I learned my lesson,
Yeah.
and I went back to Chicago for the first time in many years a couple months ago, and it's like Northampton is, I think, less cold than London, but it's still England. Y'all are tough nuts to crack. Like, it's still, it's not what I grew up with. And I felt myself thawing in Chicago. I was like, oh, I can just like be a person here, and it's accepted. Whereas, do not be a person in London. Do not do it. Don't do it. Oh, like, you're gonna get so many comments from people like, don't say that about London. London's the most amazing city in the world.
We won't.
Do you say you don't get comments?
Well, from Luke, but he's in this one, so
I was-
it'd be strange if he comment. Yeah, true.
He'll set up a load of sock puppet
yeah.
accounts.
I did write a
Lowak.
comment under
Lowak
Hweeby
Hweeby commented.
What if he just like creates a bunch of fake accounts
will.
to be mean to me, and that's how our marriage is?
I would never do that.
Who's this stupid woman opening her mouth? No, I know you never would. That's funny. We're trying so hard not to be weird. You realize that, right? We're
but
really trying
dialed
to
it
like.
back.
We're
Yeah,
like.
I know you've dialed it back. It's like as soon as you knew it was on, there was no mention of spaghetti bolognese or other.
What you mean?
What do you mean? Well, that's not what it was. What was it, John?
Daddy spag.
Daddy spag.
Daddy
Spagooters.
That's what we call it in our house.
Yeah, we're normal people. We're not freaks like Sam and her husband. Daddy spag.
This is just so unfair. Because you created the Monroe daddy spag situation
Listen,
from a
don't
quite
shame me
normal,
for my
a
sexuality.
quite normal.
How dare you, such a
Yeah, you kinky spag melt.
Anyway, art, very serious. Can you tell why we're called Studio Malarkey?
Yes, we figured it out instantly upon, or even before coming to that first show. Like we came to. What was the show before? What was the show we didn't go to then?
It
That
was
was
part
we-
of
was the
NN Nights.
NN Nights.
But we were like
Right.
a host.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Richard,
Oh no.
Simon Wright came to see us,
sorry.
to see the space, and he was lovely, and said, "Oh, would you like to be involved in NN Nights?" And we said, "Okay, when is it?" And he said, "Oh yeah, tomorrow."
Yeah, it's
or
like
the next
2
day.
or
It
3
was
weeks
really
away.
a very, very short window. And we said, "Okay, we'll host because there's no way we can produce any work to do our own thing." And Richard came, and
I can't believe I don't remember his surname.
It's Harrison.
Right now.
It's
Richard Harrison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Also
of the actor.
lovely, lovely guy.
Sorry,
Love him.
Richard Harris came,
Yeah.
From Beyond the Grave. And
gave an amazing performance.
brilliant.
Sorry,
And he hosted, and it was lovely.
Yeah, it was
Really,
nice.
really great.
Cool.
I would say as well, just to loop back slightly to the Malarkey thing. I think you two have this a bit more than me, but there's a feeling of, the white cube environment isn't very nice for everybody. It's clinical and sanitized,
yeah.
and there should be other ways to like engage with art that aren't, so sort of stuffy and institutional, and I think as a group we definitely feel that for sure.
Which is why I built Miniature Malarkey.
Oh yeah, good segue.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Segue, Sam. Tell us about miniature.
Sam, tell us about Miniature Malarkey.
How miniature is it?
A couple of years ago, I was asked to put a proposal in to get some funding on the back of an exhibition that I'd done with C2C, who work with women in the criminal justice system. And at the end of that project, we do a exhibition. Oh, more wine, thank you. And the very, very secretive Kenneth Fund, nobody knows who they are, had some money put aside and said, oh, you can do whatever you want. So I was like, yes. Didn't know what to do, had never written a proposal for anything, so I had to get Jessica to do it because,
Hi, that's me.
you know, and I
didn't
built.
do it. I helped.
She did. And I built a miniature of the studio, the main room in our studio, to take to people, so that it was accessible. If I can't bring them into the studio for whatever reason, it's not always just physical, getting up the stairs. It's not feeling included or not feeling it's for you, or any number of reasons why people don't want to engage with galleries or art spaces, or not even knowing that it's there for them. It's like it's for everybody. So built the miniature, and as part of the caveat to get the funding, I had to do some community work, which scares the shit out of me, frankly, going out and talking to people. But I took it to the Yard, which is a space for young people in Gold Street. They're really lovely. They have lots of young people go in, and we went down there, me and Jessica, and
Hi.
the young people who came were delighted
They
by
were
the miniature.
so sweet.
A, because it's really cute, and when you show people the pictures of the actual studio and then they can put their hands in the miniature, it's all very lovely. And we did 4 workshops.
You did 4, I did 3. With
Where we
you.
made work, and they curated their own little shows inside the miniature. It was brilliant. But the miniature's just inside the big studio at the minute, because I haven't really done anything with it.
Well, it was part of the show that we did, though.
Yeah, we
It
did
was
include
really-
it in the Your Mum show.
Well, you had
which
a
was
miniature
well, I
version
had
of it.
the first sort of maquette that I'd built to get. I couldn't get my head around the measurements, the studio being that big, and scaling it down. Because I love dolls' houses. I work with dolls' houses, and 1/12 doesn't seem that small when you've got a big room, but it actually is. So I built out of sort of foam board a 1/24 just to see how big the miniature was going to be. It had to fit in my car so I could actually take it somewhere, and it had to be the material, whether it was MDF or pine or whatever, I had to be able to pick it up. So I built the tiny one and then built the actual one, and it all worked out. And when we did Your Mum, the ghost, the little ghost one was hung above Miniature Malarkey with all my other dolls' houses, who they're going to be galleries. I'm going to turn them all into galleries eventually, when I can be non-drunk and asked.
When people stop bothering you to do
Right.
media, Joe.
So that was all that.
You did hit the thing though, didn't you, where you got the
Yeah.
main Miniature Malarkey and you suspended the miniature
Miniature
Yeah.
Malarkey was
above it.
built, and people engaged, and they built stuff. It was super lovely, and I will take it out more. I'd like to put it in the actual Northampton gallery. I'd like to put my gallery inside your gallery and take some photographs, but I don't know who's in charge of your gallery. Like who do I have to just go in? Hi, can I put my gallery in your gallery and take a photo?
Pitch it now. Pitch
Yeah,
it.
can I put
Yeah,
my
we
gallery
could
in your
out.
gallery and take a photo? But it's there, it's built, and it's robust, so it can be taken around, and young people and old people and all kinds of people can have a show, put on a show, curate a show. I don't know. I would like, actually, you might know some people. I would like some graffiti artists to decorate the outside, because the outside of Miniature Malarkey is the same as the walls on the outside of our actual studio. So I'd like somebody to do some street art on the outside, but tiny. So if you've got a
Teeny spray
tiny,
can.
teeny tiny spray can, please, I would love somebody to come and do some, like, mess it right up.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So yeah, shout out.
But I think Miniature Malarkey makes so much sense with who we are, because I think we all value not being fully pretentious about art. I think we're all kind of turned off by that, except for maybe this guy.
I'm definitely.
He's the most
He's the
pretentious.
most dandy. However, you are also you really appreciate the absurd,
Yes.
and we are all of that.
And you're also very approachable. You're not somebody who, gives off that, like, the only way people will take me seriously as an artist is if I'm an asshole. Oh, can we swear?
Yeah.
Okay, because
You
I
can
just...
say the
I
F
think
bomb.
we'll-
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah.
I've heard it on some of the. But one thing I love about it is that you like to say heck and.
Crumbs.
Yeah. Don't put in the really
Well, that's because I work
swords.
with... That's because I do community art projects with young people.
Oh,
And
biscuits.
You're not allowed to drop swears on the young people. It's frowned upon. So I've got alternates like heck and crumbs.
This is the after
Nice.
dark version.
But it is, the Miniature Malarkey thing's interesting, because you showed us it when we came to the show, and you said a lot of people don't feel willing just to walk into these spaces, even though everyone's working these spaces, wants people to come in desperately. It's actually, the issue's not with the people, it's that, there is a bit of stigma, I think was the word you used, kind of about just walking in gallery spaces, which
Yeah.
got us sort of thinking here about how do you make it more inviting and less kind of, I don't know what it is, it depends on the people, but just making it work for here is the important
I know
thing.
being ridiculous is a good start, I think.
Yeah,
That's
and
one of the reasons we're ridiculous.
You also have to tell people it's fine
Yeah.
to come in and like engage and with.
And that we're not going to charge you money.
Yeah.
Like, I remember talking to people, like, where I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and the common misconception was that a museum is fine, but, like, a gallery, you have to buy something to be there. It's like,
Right,
like, I
okay,
think people
interesting.
outside of the art world hear gallery and just equate it to, like, a commercial gallery, which is one of the many reasons that I object to a lot of the jargon that people in the arts use. I think it's, it makes us all sound very learned and educated and thoughtful, but I think it is a barrier to reaching people with art.
Yeah, and how have you found it here in particular? Because we've had plenty of conversations with other various people in the town of like that sort of battle of getting people to engage, and people will engage, but they tend to be quite temperamental here with when and if, it feels like. I don't know whether you've experienced this.
I think our space is actually, it is quite inviting, because I think you could just be curious about the building, or it definitely doesn't have that.
And we did have that people, especially with the Your Mum exhibition, who came in because they'd gone to the bar and they knew about the beer.
Yeah.
And because our studio is above the Albion Brewery, and it developed from that project where a couple of brothers reinstigated the brewery down there, and then there was a pub and this, that and the other, and the studios were built from that. They're like, oh, I never knew, I didn't know, oh, this is interesting, come in. And people who had worked in that building before, when it was a leather tanning business, they were like, wow, this is so different to when we came. But not everybody has that history or connection. You just got to grab them. People will say, "Oh, we didn't know you were here."
Yeah.
Well, I've not been hiding. I'm all over the internet, but I don't know, algorithms, whoever controls how people get that information. There's only so many flyers, posters. You know, do you have to go out and literally grab people and drag them in? Probably. We did at Your Mum. We had people come from all over, but they had a connection. The couple whose son had a piece in the show, they came from Saffron Walden or somewhere. But would they have just rocked up? Probably not. There needed to be a connection.
I do think like that. I think so I do my own art, and I've worked for organizations and short-term arts projects. As an artist, weirdly, the thing that's gotten me the most kind of diverse audiences is radio. And I'm not talking about like the 1990s, even though that was such a good time. Just, oh, you guys, the 90s. No, I had, I did a show in the project space at NN years ago, and I also, my first show in England was in our old studio building at the Artist Sanctuary, which is no more, I believe. And I wrote up a press release, and I contacted people I knew who had businesses in Northampton. They gave me contacts, and like the local BBC, man, did they love interviewing people in the arts. Like, you know, so they'd get me on, and then I'd be a bit goofy. And you know, I remember the first show, I made sure everyone knew that I was baking cookies. Like, there's free cookies and wine. But yeah, like I remember this amazing guy. He was a mechanic, and he had heard me talk about my work, thought it was interesting, popped by, and then I found him crying in front of one of my drawings. So I just think, like, if you're gonna, you know, I think especially in a smaller space like Northampton, this isn't London, it's, you know, the art world is a lot smaller. We all kind of know one another. If you want a bigger audience, if you want to engage the community, you've got to get outside the art world and talk to the community. Yeah. And also, I mean, also we hosted a musician, Brad Battle, who is Rebecca Lee, and she does live looping with a turntable, so there's like an element of danger.
Very cool.
It's really cool. And we invited her to do a performance, you know, so that's also like you get the music people in. I mean, you guys know that. That's kind of, you got your art people, you got your music people, you got your performance people. You're on top of that. But
I think our venue, though, does lend itself to some interesting, like, sound.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a rock band, but, you know...
we want to do more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really good to... Because it is quite unique, I think.
Well, your last show, which unfortunately I had to leave early from because I was about to faint, that was so well publicized because you specifically addressed postcards to people with some details that you found of us, which freaked Luke out because he was like, how do they know how old I am? And I was like,
I'm sorry I couldn't come, but I wasn't.
Oh yeah, she was in Australia.
Yeah, I was in Australia.
She couldn't come and I couldn't stay.
But when I saw the postcards, I was...
it was so good.
It
was
good.
so beautifully done. So in terms of like reaching an audience, really you've taught us something with that because that was so good.
That's what we've found though, like, because this show we did that was a little bit more freak some people out. But I guess the first time that was done was when there was the Pomelo Who show in November, which was also invite only. And both this one that's just been and the Who show, it was like people coming 10 minutes early, as opposed to like the normal you put it out, people come half an hour afterwards. It's like this weird thing, if you try and invite everyone, then like suddenly just a few people turn up, but then when you invite people, suddenly everyone wants to come, and it's just this.
But they felt like they were VIPs or something, right?
Yeah, because I guess it's like it's nice to be in the know, isn't it? And it's,
I know, I'm like, go
yeah.
on the radio, invite the mechanics, and you're like targeted only the cool people. So, I mean, either way it works.
Yeah, like it's good to have different approaches, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
It intrigued people as well, not knowing what they were walking into.
Yeah.
Because I think we're bombarded today with so much information that something so unknown was like, ooh.
Yeah,
No,
unfortunately, I
wanna
still
know.
don't know what happened. Again, very
I
sorry.
don't think we do either.
Okay,
still.
good. That's fine.
We still have people asking,
Yeah.
like when we see them, like,
Nice.
so what actually happened? Which, I mean, fingers crossed, it's not over yet, so
No.
there's still
There's loads
more
of
to come off the back of that, which is. Yeah,
But
we
also
just need
maybe
to
it
get
doesn't have to
together,
be
but
that defined either.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
which
Because people were asking, like, what is it? Is it collective? Is it, like, a performance? What is it? And we're like, whatever you want to make it out to be, we're cool with that, because, like, putting it in a box instantly kind of suffocates it. And if we want it to be what we've talked about, wanting it to kind of flourish into, saying it's one thing cuts off everything else that we were like, oh, we could do this and we could do this. And this person, because also, like, we found that all the people we did invite to that show talk to each other, which I think is a not very Northampton thing today.
No.
It's, yeah.
I discovered this when I wanted to take Miniature Malarkey out, getting in touch with loads of institutions, loads of arts organisations, people, and they're all so siloed.
Yeah.
Nobody talks to anybody else. It was really difficult.
And it was paid. It wasn't like you were even
And I
asking
said,
for payment.
this is funded.
Fully funded.
It's fully
Free
funded.
workshop.
Free workshops.
To
fully funded.
highly
I am
experienced people to do the
I'm
workshop.
coming up to you. You are getting this for free. I was like,
I think
I'm
though-
not sure. Don't really know. Which is very disheartening. But this intrigue is quite hot. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. Where do you see yourselves going?
After here,
5 years
what do you,
time.
where you going? Where you going? Can we come with?
Do you have a 5-year plan?
Yeah,
If so,
really.
can we just ride on your coattails?
I'll let you answer. You've answered this question more frequently because you're still at uni, so someone
Yeah.
asked you that about every other day at this point.
Yeah, so I study fashion design, and in September I'm going into my final year, which is my collection. But like coming back to Northampton this year has changed how I think a lot,
Right.
and made me appreciate people a lot. Like I met you guys, I met Michael, which you recently podcasted with, who's Food Library, if you know him.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loads of Timber Tom that we talked about earlier.
He's lovely.
He
Lovely
is
Timber.
Love you,
amazing.
Timber Tom.
Love Timber Tom.
Tom.
Timber Tom's the secret weapon for the next part
Oh,
of.
yeah.
Really?
He is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he is literally our collective emotional Labrador. Isn't he, though? Sorry, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, Tom, but step up, dude.
I just want to point out, I think, like, just to come back to something you were saying, I think it is quite siloed, but I think it's a bit less siloed than it used to be. Maybe.
It is in the last couple of years, and you know
Yes.
why
Yeah.
that is? Because you guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
around,
Mm.
and we've been brave and opened ourselves up,
Thank
and
you.
that does really.
Yeah.
There's a bit more
Make a
cross-pollination.
I
really
mean,
does.
we're ridiculous, but we were also really nervous. You know, 'cause, like, I mean, I don't know how you started this in terms of like intentions, but Malarkey is definitely our creative space. It's where we work, and the kind of opening up to the public is really just this cool bonus thing that we can do on top of it. You know, and we've also like it's available for rent now if you want to rent the gallery out, because it is such a beautiful space, and it feels silly just to, you know, like stand in the middle of it and stir your pot noodle. Like, there's something a bit more exciting should be happening in there every once in a while. But it's not like a business, and it's not, I don't know how often you get this, but we get the whole, like, have you guys thought about getting funding? Have you guys thought about applying for funding? Yeah.
God's sake.
And
Funding.
have you thought about
funding?
Have you thought about turning over like a month and a half of your life to the worst process you've ever experienced, and then inevitably getting a no, and so it's all for nothing, and it's a waste of time. Yeah, every time we're asked that, I'm like, I'm the only person here with like funding experience, and like I get paid to do it in my day job, and I can't imagine a day when I would wake up and think, do you know what I'd really like to do with my creative time is fight over a very small pot of money with literally everyone else in the Midlands also wanting that money in a process that is designed to fully fry your brain out of your head and then never get the money. So you've got that as well.
Oh, yeah. We've had it a lot, but luckily, like, so when we started this space, it was kind of, it was one of those weird things where I was like, okay, I'll do this and this will be like sort of the business. But then inevitably I was just like, because it was like, okay, I'll do the business and we'll do this professional photographer thing.
So it started as a business.
Yeah, and then I'd just keep my practice to myself. Turns out those two things don't go together when you think they will, and go together when you don't. So obviously this is now merged into, like, most people know it for the gallery side of things and the bookshop and stuff, and then just still working out where that divide actually sits, because it goes all over the place. But luckily we've avoided the whole funding thing, because I also had probably, like, when we were first talking about it, like, people were saying about funding, and I just probably an attitude problem or something, where it's just like, I'm not going to take your money so then you can tell me what to do 10 minutes after you've given it to me. And it's just that. So in my head, so in my head, it's like, okay, so I'll
turn off.
Yeah,
it's a huge turn off. Yeah.
It's like, well, if we can make the money in here and then use that to do something that we think is right, because obviously me as a 22-year-old knew more than what the Art Council know, but like in my head, well, I'm 25 now, almost 26, yeah.
You're 26 now.
Like,
27. So do you, I mean, don't answer this if you don't want to. Do you still have time to actually do your practice?
Yeah, we've carved it. I think there's a balance struck where it's like part and part. Obviously, still have to do other stuff, but it's like I realise that. What were you going to say?
It's quick though, right? That's what I like about it.
Yeah, you press a button, it's done, and then it's all sorted. No, but yeah, there's still a balance. But I think what I realised was it was not to fall into that trap that a lot of people I was seeing run into, and then weirdly I saw it a lot in musicians who would make really interesting alternative music, then start releasing really terrible pop music, going, yeah, I'm just going to do this until I'm popular, then go back to do what I actually want to do. And I'm like, well, you notice how no one cares anymore, and you're worse off than you were before. So it's like, if you don't keep that time as you go along, then it will just vanish. And that's what I kind of got to a point where I was kind of like, oh, I haven't done anything creative for like a year. I've just done commission stuff, which is still creative and still interesting, luckily, but it's also like, oh, suddenly now I'm this. Yeah. And that's not what I intended. So like, just
I ask because it's a danger of when the way you're making your money is also creative, because sometimes you find that your creativity then gets sunk into that, and when you actually have like a Thursday afternoon or whatever to sit and think of your own ideas, there's no more left, because you've
used them all.
Spent it on the money-making bet.
Or you've put them in a box, and if you do anything different, then you're suddenly an artist with no style, because you've done two things, and if you've done this, then you can't do that, which was the other problem that I've run into as well.
That's a different discussion.
Which is just painful.
Familiar with that one as well, though. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny the kind of musicians making kind of what they think is a broader appeal music. And it is something that I've seen from artists, and a lot from students who actually listen to their tutors a bit too much and decide to make the work that their tutors want them to make. And they kind of like lose themselves. And then they graduate and they are trying to anticipate what's wanted from them, instead of realizing that the only selling point that any of us have is that we're us and no one else can think or do the stuff that we can. It's just about kind of finding where that fits rather than, you know, twisting yourself into, or like becoming a Tetris piece to fit into somewhere else. It's about making somewhere where you fit, which I think you've done and we've done. You make the place that you go.
Yeah, which it's...
Make the place you go.
Make the place you go. That's top tier American philosophy right there.
But yeah, it is very easy to lose yourself in that, and especially a lot of like younger artists we have, they're trying to produce what they think will be popular or does well, and
Never works.
like
It never works.
Never works.
And it's not fun. And then you're an artist being like, I hate what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and no one else likes it either. What's happening?
yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of young people blame it on like the social media influence, but I guess it's always been a thing like since
I mean, social
forever.
media doesn't
Like-
help, but yeah, it's always been a thing. It's always been a thing because we're old and we know it. We know what it was like before social media. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
Before social media.
I remember.
We just did stuff all the time and no one knew about it.
Yeah, all
There
of
are
my
things I did.
crimes
There's no
not
pictures.
committed to camera.
There's
Thank
nobody heard about it
baby
who wasn't
Jeebus.
there. It was just anonymity.
So good.
Do you want to top up? Sorry, this is a bit off piste.
This is important business.
You can cut that out later,
is-
though, right?
This is the main part of the show. This will be the highlight. This will be the bit we post.
Me getting there.
Pink or white?
And I was very, very
get
drunk.
white.
Just give her white. She's just not paying attention. I ordered for you, hon. Yeah, we did bring our own drinks and glasses and ice bucket for this.
I think these are actually
bad.
dessert coupes
Not anymore.
to put ice cream and fruit. We like just booze out of them.
Yeah, we got these from a charity shop when we started Malarkey together, so we could have our first jumpers out of it.
We had a little.
We did a ceremony and a
It's really
saging.
sweet. We saved the cork.
Yeah, and then
Our
got very,
champers.
very drunk.
We didn't get drunk.
I think we probably did.
I
I think
that-
that you not remembering is because we were very, very drunk. Yes.
So where were we on the art front before we got distracted by the drink front again?
Oh, I don't know.
Looping back round.
When the artist's intention becomes monetary gain instead of the art gain itself, when it becomes like you're not making art for yourself, because art is a very self-indulgent process anyways, and when it becomes for monetary gain and like money or social media or whatever.
But the most
Then-
successful people I know, personally and in the world, have done their thing,
Yeah,
true to themselves.
yeah, because you can feel
Yeah.
themselves in the artwork, then
You
it's
stray,
just like copy and paste
It's-
after.
obvious, people can see it. It's
Yeah.
inauthentic.
It
Yeah.
stinks of insincerity.
Exactly.
That's lovely. that.
Absolutely stinks of you striving to be something that you're not.
And for many years, I was kind of slightly embarrassed about my work being craft-based, being so very, very ladylike, bit of sewing. But then I realised that's what I'm good at, and I can make it really in your face
Yeah.
and really true and really hot and harsh and violent.
It's amazing.
And it might be sewing,
Yeah,
but it is going to punch you in the nuts.
yeah, man.
Just so cute.
I think something we all have as well
Babe!
is that and I don't think you get this in every sort of walk of life, but like play is really, really important. Like you should be able to, you know, just make something for the sake of it. And mistakes are really important too.
Yes, mistakes are
those.
essential.
Failure is part of the process.
If you're not making mistakes, then what are you even doing?
You're doing something wrong.
Mistakes is making mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then mistakes.
So it's a mistake not to make
Mistakes
mistakes.
of the not thing.
Don't mistake making mistakes for being mistaken.
Because
that would actually work. We got to the end of it and it made sense, kind of.
We'll workshop it, but I think it's a nice kernel.
I like the
Get
way
some funding.
Unedited. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're all pretty hot on making sure that we expose when we don't know what the fuck
you have to show your petticoats. You have to be yourself.
Yeah.
You got to flop out a tit now and again. You know.
That's our family crest.
Right? Because if you're not, then you're just lying.
But that's also a whole problem with the projecting, right? With media and that kind of thing, and showing this sort of the lifestyle of being an artist.
Well, I do edit my Insta.
Well, no, you have to.
I mean, I'll show the good stuff. I'm not going to show you rubbing my HRT gel on my thigh.
But there needs to be some pain as well, and the mistakes.
Well, we had a lot of discussions about this. Like, we went away for Christmas and New Year's to a Airbnb on a farm. It's great. Lots of long walks, and I really worked through
Cows.
I worked through cows. No, I realized that I had so much grief over how shitty the art world was. From working in it and then being an artist and kind of seeing from both ends. And then COVID was horrible. I myself had long COVID twice, quite terrible. However, there were good things about kind of lockdown that could have been picked up and kept, and we could have learned and improved. And I understand that, like, the banking system wasn't going to do that, but when the art world didn't do any of that, it really broke my heart, because it was like, if anyone's supposed to be innovating, why wouldn't it be us? You know, there was, when lockdown first started, and I was working for an arts organization at the time. It was a small one, and luckily I had pushed for, we did a lot of events in rural Northamptonshire, which meant that we got the same white, middle-class, English-born audience, right? Because they were the ones who either lived nearby or could afford to get there and were interested to, like, go out to the thing. And I had been pushing for, like, actually a podcast and, like, more ways to, we were doing digital, but I was like, if we do a podcast, we can actually commission special sound work that doesn't get a lot of play in a gallery anyway, and also it's new in audiences and stuff. And it was approved, and then lockdown hit, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, this is a great idea, it's time to do this now, do this now, do this now. And, like, there was a really big push from, like, the disabled community when lockdown hit, of, like, I actually feel like I'm part of the art world now. Like, I can actually attend concerts, I can see DJ sets, I can see exhibitions, I can go to workshops, I can go to artist talks, because the world has adjusted to the way that chronically ill and disabled people had been living the whole time. And then the second everything opened up, it was like everyone went, oh, phew, we don't have to do that anymore. And just reverted to, like, I mean, even, and I don't understand, because, like, just even people in another country who want to pay to hear the artist talk, and you're not going to let them. So, like, the gates really shut, and it really disappointed me so much. And we talked about it a lot over the holidays. And I came back and I was like, right, guys, we need to figure out how to be ethical. Studio Malarkey has to be ethical, and we are still figuring it out. But part of it is about being transparent about the fact that, like, we're not here to make money off of people. However, we can't just put on all the shows of all the artists who come to us, because we're not getting paid for it. It's like, we're not here to exploit artists, but also we can't exploit ourselves. Like, we still need to have our own time and our own space. And I would really like to do a series of kind of like online discussions. It'd be interesting to get y'all involved, where I'm thinking it would be called Imagine an Asshole, where everyone imagines an asshole that they've encountered in the art world, and then we talk about how not to be that. And that would be the whole thing. And because people, like especially students, come to our shows and they approach us like we're going to be their big break, or like because we can give them a show, and it's like, no, we're like an artist-run space, and nobody explains the art world to anybody. It's all this it's this exclusionary, secret, walled-off bullshit. And so, yeah, I think be more ridiculous, be more accessible, be more transparent.
Yeah, and there's all just good things,
Yeah,
because
no
like
notes?
no, 100%, and like it's looping back to like when we opened here, it was this idea of like, yeah, no one's talking to each other. There was genuinely like a university in Northampton, a belief that just nothing else here existed. Like, you'd talk to even the lecturers and it was like they'd just be showing you stuff from far and wide, but never, is there anything actually happening here? It's like, no. It's like,
But there's so much.
There is so much, yeah.
And when we're out and about, people will be, we didn't know you were there. We're not hiding. We're literally all over the internet.
we've had people quite frequently, actually, in like the last 3-4 months, walk in and say, oh, this is really cool to know this is here. I live down the street, didn't know you were a thing. And it's like, oh, glad you found us now, but we've been here, like, how long you been here? 4 years? And they're like, what? But it's, which, I mean, we are 3 stories up, like, in the middle of nowhere, but also, like, yeah, it's difficult to translate that, because maybe you do need to go around and drag people out of their houses to find them.
That is important too, and not being siloed, right? So we want to be part of a network and know what other people are doing, and if we can contribute, or if people want to contribute to what we're doing, or that's why you guys are doing great stuff, you know. So
and I think that's why it was, even though it sounds like you found out about NN Nights the night before, why that kind of felt like it could have been something really good.
It wasn't the night before, but
it was very.
There were changes in plans for the next NN Nights, but we are having an event on the original NN Nights date. Luke Harby, would you like to tell the people about the event we're doing?
Yeah, so Studio Malarkey, Friday the 30th of May. We're going to be open from 12 p.m, so midday, to 10 p.m. There are 3 sort of programmed events. I think Sam should talk about one of them, but I will introduce it. Sam is doing a community embroidery piece.
Do you want me to talk about it now?
Yeah, do that bit now, yeah.
So, I do a bit of sewing, as you know, and I've also been very reluctant to do community projects and collaborations because I'm a bit shy. So I thought a few years ago, it was actually before pandemic.
You literally just said you need to get a tit out every once in a while.
Right. So I thought, what I can do is to push myself and challenge my good self is to collaborate with everybody and do a community thing to, you know, break my own heart. So I got a massive bit of fabric, and inspired by primary school tea towel end of year projects where everybody does a little drawing and they print a tea towel, I thought what I'll do is everybody can come and draw on the fabric and I will stitch over it. And I started that, and it was really funny, very funny, especially the teen boys I worked with who thought they're right porn star and sex and great big dobbers. And they did a bit of scribble, and they did it all in gold pen, and I'm like, guys, I've got to stitch this in gold thread, which is like the worst thread. But there were a few local artists who did a little bit of this and that, and I stitched over it. And I want it to be a kind of lifetime, forever thing. So it loops around the town. Great big fabric, Bayer tapestry. It's not a tapestry, it's an embroidery, just saying. Situation, a curiosity, snapshots of people's things. There's a couple of women I know who've written, fuck the Tories, they're cunts, and yeah, Susan, I hate you, you silly fuck. Very of the time, of that moment, they just scribbled on the fabric and I'm going to stitch over it. It's very funny. It is really funny. And you don't even have to be here. You can send in a bit of fabric and I can stitch it on, and it can be a big thing. And I had it hibernated because I had moved house and this, that and the other. But I cracked it out and I was like, oh, I'm going to do a little bit of sewing. And I thought, this is really, really funny. I should do more of this. But I need more people to draw on it, and I also need more people to maybe help me sew it, because I'm just one tiny woman, and this is a lifelong, massive project.
So small.
But I also need somebody to illustrate tying it all together, because it's quite disparate little fuckeries. I need it to be beautifully...
It's actually a really good description of Northampton.
It's a disparate little fuckeries. And but I just really love that people go, oh, and they get a little bit embarrassed because they are expected to do some draw. It's like, no, you just sign your name, be political, write a swear, do a whatever.
Whatever
So we'll have that out on a table.
I did think though, today I was thinking like, where does that end? Do you have?
Well,
like,
it's never going to end.
It's never
okay,
gonna end.
you're just going to keep
Sadly.
stitching. Okay.
I was-
And people can write what they want, right? They
Oh.
can, or draw what they want.
They already have.
Okay.
I remember going to some gallery in Paris, can't remember, probably drunk, asked my husband, and there was a huge wall of...
Show the poem, babes. Show the poem.
It was a Toulouse-Lautrec piece that was unfinished, and it was at a time where he was down and out and couldn't afford just one great big piece of canvas. So it was potato sacks and bits of shit, and it was unfinished and painted on slightly, but it was huge. And I saw this work as similar to that. Patchwork, little bits of silly shit, profound drawings, illustrations, and also cock and balls, teenage boys, pair of tits, you melt. Because that's, at that moment, that's what somebody was thinking. And then I've got to sew.
That's fucking profound, babe.
Cheers, you bitch.
So that's 1/3 of what's happening
Yeah,
on
that's
that day.
happening.
The second third, we know an amazing artist called Sarah Gillette. Hello, Sarah. She's going to be doing a performance. It's regarding an asteroid, and I think...
No, I think she's going to do the ring, not the asteroid.
Oh.
It's going to be a TBD,
Her
amazing
work.
performance
Ooh.
from Sarah Gillette.
Yeah.
And now Sarah thing.
It's going to be incredible. So the thing I'm doing is I'm setting up a little portrait studio. I've got a very old camera. You can come down and sit and have this lovely old portrait taken on black and white film on a very big negative. I've brought one here just to show you the size of it.
It's one of those, it's the camera that's so old that it's got like bellows.
And,
And he has to go under
And
a
Luke
cape.
has to go under a thing.
And sometimes when he's trying to set it up and he has to go over and do something else, and he like leaves it on, and he's like walking around like a really sad
I've got some of those for you. So
And I've taken lots of photographs
you'll have to zoom
from
that in.
behind Luke with his arms
his hood
underneath
on.
him.
But the other nice thing about this is I've got a system where the sitter can actually push the trigger themselves, so they can have a little bit of autonomy in terms of...
It's
Like a
very
selfie?
Beautiful.
Yeah, like an analog selfie. There's
Like a
one.
selfie, but
Selfie.
analog. What are you calling it, Luke?
Analog selfies.
Amazing.
We workshopped that idea, didn't we?
It's so cute.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just to give
Trying to
people,
get your paw
just
in
some of the
the
listeners, if they can imagine. So this is a 35
You're gonna
millimeter
hold it up to the
negative.
microphone.
The sound of 35
The
mil.
sound of film.
So that might not come out very well, but that is the end of a piece of 35 millimeter film, and
Memories
that's a negative that I'm going to be using. So that's a 5x.
Whoa.
Wow.
It's massive.
That's so much bigger.
It's a lot bigger, isn't it?
You're epic.
Luke, does that give you a much clearer photograph at the end, Luke Harby?
I mean, it's you're playing with a bigger thing, aren't you? To begin with.
Oh.
Which I always endorse.
I've got some copies of it for you guys.
Amazing.
Yeah. So there's three things happening. There's Sam's cock and balls
Sewing.
tapestry.
So you can, cock and balls up on the embroidery.
There's Sarah Gillette's
Yeah.
performance piece, which I thought was about an asteroid, but maybe it's something else.
It was the right.
Whatever it'll be.
It's going to be amazing though. She's brilliant.
It'd be
Yeah.
incredible.
She had work in our Your Mum show.
And then
Which one was
after-
hers? Like, your mum?
Hers were the color photograms of the tiny bust of Venus.
And there's also a big...
Oh,
piece.
and the big asteroid drawing that was in the window hole,
That might be there on the night, I think.
which might be there on the night. So yeah, two participatory. I said that good. Participatory art projects that evening, and one performance which you cannot participate in. You just got to shut up and listen, but it's going to be worth it.
But yeah, come down.
Cool.
You can get involved in as much or as little as you'd like, but it'd be lovely to see people. So.
And also, we'll be there
Yeah, yeah.
And also,
if this is your kind of thing.
yeah,
And there will be refreshments.
the important part. And also, when is it? Just because.
Friday the 30th of May, 12 p.m. or midday till 10 p.m.
Cool. Which, if all goes to plan, isn't this Friday, but next Friday.
Yes, it's the last Friday in May. Friday the 30th
Yeah.
of May, 2025. That's a Friday.
In May.
Got in just
Perfect.
before the collapse of
What are the
society.
times, though? Did I mention the times?
You did.
Okay.
I think so.
You did a few times. Well done, honey. You did a good promotion.
Not Saturday, Friday.
Not a Saturday, Friday. Joe?
Cool.
But we've got the poster as well.
I'll put it in the description for those who are now scrolling back 5 minutes to find out. To reprocess all of that
People
information.
to come to your things. You hide the information. You bury it
That's
deep.
true.
So people don't know where and when it is.
When you do watch those things back, though, people say, when is it? And they're like, blah, 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 blah. They just kind of garble it very quickly.
What are you watching? I've never seen.
Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know
love
radio.
to watch radio.
Good radio. Anyway. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, we apologise in advance for the demise of your podcast. Because we ruined it.
To be fair to us, we did tell you this was a big mistake.
This is what we prefer compared to some guests that come on and give one-word answers until I hit the 10-minute mark and go, okay, I think it's we're done now.
I think it's good as well. 'cause
So much to
We'll
say.
talk about that when this is over.
But no, thank you guys. And is there anything else you need to shout out or obligatory sponsors to mention? Like, just in
I
case.
guess we sponsor ourselves. I
Oh,
want
my
to thank.
husband, he's like...
Oh, I want to thank Sam's husband, Rob.
Oh, can I shout out to your kids as well? Sorry.
Oh, my kids.
Can we shout out to Jack and Tom?
Jack and Tom, Tomathan and Jack. They're
Shout out,
amazing individuals.
shout out to our dog. Stop barking at those people. They're allowed to be in the street.
Boo. Bedtime.
It's bedtime, boo. No, I think we're. Please let us be done.
Cool.
Oh my God, you mentioned my children, and now I'm gonna.
Well, but you did
Kids are
mention them
great.
earlier, and they're amazing.
They are amazing.
Yeah, and you
I made them.
in Dublin.
Jack and Tom and Tom and Jack.
Tomathon and Jacob.
Jackie.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay.
Cut. Do you want to do the honours and press the big red button?
Fuck no! Don't put it out.